Hello again and welcome to the video. So today we've got something a little bit different. It's these two Jouef models. They're made in France and they're number 5191 and 8730. So both these models look to be the same thing, but I'm not quite sure why there's different numbers on the boxes. Anyway, let's see if my assistant can tell us a little bit about this unit.
This is a French Z2N class of electric multiple units that have been in service in Paris and its suburbs since they were introduced in 1982. The Z2N has played a significant role in the development of suburban transit in Paris and beyond, offering travelers air conditioning, wider seats, improved lighting, and other amenities. The double-deck design provides more seating and standing room, increasing capacity and reducing overcrowding during peak hours. Together, these trains marked a significant improvement over previous vehicles and continue to play a key role in keeping Paris and the surrounding area moving. The two models we have today can be supplemented with an additional two intermediate coaches. They are catalogue numbers 5092 and 5093. The models we have today were released between 1984 and 1985.
So you can see that the boxes here are in a very French style and colour. You can also see that they have had a bit of a hard life. There's a bit of bashes on them and I can see a tear as well. One of them's missing the film sleeve over the model too. Anyway, let's have a look at the first one at the top here. So this one is number 5191 and it has a picture of the item inside the box. This box is the one that doesn't have any clear film on it, and you can see the model inside here. Hoping it's going to be okay when we open it up, but let's give it a go. So inside the box we have an instruction sheet, and this is talking about adding on the handrails at the door, the couplings as well. They don't seem to be NEM pockets, but it does look as though you can change the couplings if you want to. And it also has some details up here of extras that you can fit onto the roof. I'm going to make the assumption that these have already been fitted on in this model though. So first impressions of this unit, it has a lot of nice little bits of detail on it, but it does have some problems already. I can see up here, for example, there's a bit of brown and a chip in the body here, and another one here. This could be that these have had a bit of a hard life, but there is some nice detail on the roof here. I'm assuming this is an air conditioning unit, and there's other things like the horns as well and some other extras. I saw these in the instruction sheet, so these have been fitted afterwards. Fortunately, they've not been fitted too well. You can see that there's been too much glue used there, so it is a bit shiny. That's a bit of a shame. The problems continue here as well, where you can see that there is some brown staining at the front here and just a couple of spots here and there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here. I'm going to see if we can get this off. Okay, so that's cleaned up, not too bad. That was just a bit of kitchen roll and some water and it's cleaned up fine. So I don't know what those brown stains were. I shuddered to think actually, but still they're not there anymore. So there's some details here. So you can see it has SNCF on this panel here. So this obviously indicating it's French. It's also got quite a nice indicator of a digital display at the top here. That's just a piece of paper I think behind there, but it works quite well. The windows are very clear and they have molded onto them some windscreen wipers. There is some odd stuff going on around the windows. Looks like maybe they're a little bit thicker than they should be, or they're just not fitted very well from the factory. And you can also see inside that it has a great big bulb there, so I guess it does have lighting, so that's interesting, but it could have really benefited from a proper interior rather than that massive bulb. There's a nice representation of the couplings down here. So this is obviously a dummy for this model. It's not actually operational. I'm guessing it could be removed and a proper coupling being put in there if we want. Actually, I did see that in the instructions as well. So going down the side of this unit here, you can see that it has an SNCF logo printed here in this blue bar and the number 5604. But you can see up here it hasn't been done absolutely perfectly. There's a bit of fuzziness here, so that's not too great. And you can also see that the colour is not very good in the edges of the windows as well. So it's not a fantastic paint job, but it's not too bad. There's also this logo here showing second class, which is also present at the other end. And again, you can see some issues here where the printing is a bit blurry between the lines there. And down at this end of the model, there is another number, ZB5604, which matches with the number at the front. You can also see here, for example, the blue has a bit of a wobble on it here. It's also noticeable that this part here is up higher than the blue on the other part of the door as well. So there are really some problems with the finish on this model. At this end, the blue extends around across the back door. It's still very fuzzy as well. So they're not doing very good here with the printing. pantograph is quite a simple thing and it works as well, which is great. It does look very delicate, but it does look very nice as well. It's something I'm really impressed with on this model. Underneath the model we can see that it has pickups on this bogie. I'm guessing that's for the light. You can see the Jouef logo and the Made in France, and there's a couple of indications of tanks and boxes, but the detail is really missing on the underside of this model, and there's some gaping holes as well, like here where the front bogie is, and you can see clearly inside the model. The glazing is very clear and you can see the seating inside is moulded in an orange plastic. It's not great because you can see that it doesn't go all the way across the carriage, so there are holes in the middle through to the black chassis. The bogies are quite a simple moulding. There's not a great deal of detail here. It does have some indication of springs and other bits of gear on this, and it looks okay, but you know, the brake blocks aren't in line with the wheels. The wheels are held into the bogies and it's all a bit plasticky and a bit toy-like. So let's have a look at the other model. So I've noticed that this one is heavier, so I'm guessing this one is powered. Let's open it up and have a look. So this one also came with instructions, but it's exactly the same as the first one. And it also came with an additional coupling in this bag here. So for this one, annoyingly, it has this brown staining at the front as well and down the side of the body. I'm guessing it's just because of the age of these models. I'm going to give this a clean as well. Okay, so this is cleaned up okay as well. The front is exactly the same. It's got the same number Z2N and the same detail, the SNCF here. The number is different, it's 5603 for this one. The other one was 5604. And underneath we see that it has a pickup also on the back bogie here as well. Looks quite dirty. And at the front this bogie is driven. You can see the gears coming down from the motor above it. It's quite a simple mechanism. It's got the motor attached to the bogie inside the car, and it just comes down to the wheels through these gears here. One thing to note on this one as well is that the paint job is also quite bad. You can see here that there's some feathering of the blue going on, and also up here in the guttering there's some blue as well. You can see here that it's got a white surround on this door too, so the red hasn't been applied very well either. Paintwork is really letting this model down. So let's see if we can get this model moving. Okay, I've got some power onto the track now, so let's see what happens when we turn this on. Well, we've got some movement. So that's great news. It does actually work, and it works surprisingly well. I thought it would be a bit dirty and worse for wear, but it seems to run okay. It is a bit stuttery at slower speeds. It could just need a bit of a clean. It's promising that it worked just straight out the box. However, you probably did notice it was quite noisy. So let's see how much these weigh. The unit with the motor weighs 281 grams, and the unpowered unit weighs 160 grams. So overall, these two models from Jouef, they're not the best in the world. The painting really lets them down, and there's a feel of them being almost toy-like rather than model-like. That's a bit of a shame. I think these EMUs look very interesting and they've got a lot of style to them, and they would make a colourful and interesting addition, especially if you're modelling French railways. This might be the only choice you have for this particular unit, and if you did buy these, I would consider maybe repainting these if you're confident with your model painting. It also seems to run okay in spite of its age, but I don't think it's going to be a great runner compared to some other models, and certainly modern day models run a lot better than these two. However, that said, you'll probably be able to pick these up fairly cheap, and if you're modelling French railways, this would be an ideal unit to purchase. I'm going to put these on the turntable so you can have a look all the way around. In the meantime, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe for more like this. That's it for today though. See you next time.